So Richmond Goal 2 is the newest and the most advanced commercial noodle making machines that like we started selling recently in the United States too, and this is coming pretty soon in European countries too. So we're very excited about it. And so today, like we are making what we are making, right, is that like it's not well technically it's not ramen, but like well it is ramen, but technically it's ramen, but like we're making some noodles that are similar to some type of like Chinese like famous Chinese noodles, and yeah, so let's go making it. And so she placed this dough, right? I mean, she only made the dough before in advance, and then so she placed the dough on the conveyor belt, I mean conveyor, and then just start feeding it, right? Start feeding it automatic, right? Then once she like sort of winds that dough sheet on the rolling pin, like just automatic, right? Automatically like winds it, right? So it's the machine that's doing the job. You know, and so we designed this Bitcoin Gold 2 to well automate some of the processes that are like that may be like a bit difficult for people who haven't done it before. So like in the time when like it's getting like more difficult for businesses to acquire like and then keep skilled laborers, we thought like it would be like really good piece of equipment to have like because anyone, right, anyone without like any experiences can start making spark noodles on this machine. So how much is this machine? So like we have like different prices because like depending on like where and don't know like where you're gonna use it because like we have yeah, we have a machine like well certified for US and Europe. Like we have like different certification and like we have different like we use different parts for those markets, right? So and yeah, it it is like I have said like this is like expensive, but we think like it's worth it. And for those like who are interested in like pricing, like we'll we'll send it to you or after this class, right? And yeah, and then if you're interested in like getting to know like exactly how much it can cost you to acquire this machine, right? We can, and if you can give us like your delivery address, right? We can also like get you the shipping estimate as well. So for example, like for United States, like we can do like door-to-door delivery, and most cities in Europe too, like we can do like door-to-door delivery. So if any of you guys are interested in this machine, like let me know. And so now like we are doing like combining process. So like we separate the dough, right, the sheet into two, and then we like combining them together through the roller. And this is this process like basically strengthening the dough, right? So we just had the like crumbles dough like out of the mixer, right? And then and we made like kind of force them to like in one sheet of dough, right? But that was still pretty fragile. So like we want to make it stronger. And then this process kind of like working the dough, right? To have like kind of develop the gluten structure inside the dough, right? Gluten containing the wheat flour that we use in to this dough, right? So we're kind of working the dough by pressing the folded sheet of dough, right, through this roller, and then you maybe like see the smoothness on the dough that just came out, right? It's definitely smoother than before, and it's definitely more firm, stronger, and so we we do this process like twice usually, so to make sure that the gluten structure is fully developed to the point where the noodle texture is like really good, right? And then, but from this point on, like we start dusting, right? Start dusting, and then so this machine has like automatic duster, and so maybe we set the duster like in the rear of this machine, right? And then start dusting, and then this duster, so dusting like on the back, right? And then so dusting on the conveyor, right? And so the dough start getting dusted, but like at the same time it gets combined, right, through a roller. And then so the dough that's coming out like gets dusted, but like because like this process like we want to combine the two sheets of dough, so like we want them to stick together, right? But dusting, what dusting does, like it just keeps dough from sticking. So it's the opposite effect, right? Um, but like at this process, like the dough gets the dusted, like the outside the dough gets dusted, right? The part that we want to stick together is not getting dusted, so you can combine them, right? And then get this sheet of dough, like outside the sheet of dough, right? Get dusted, like yeah. So this part is like getting combined, right? This side, right? But like this side, I just call them like outside, um, are getting dusted. And so this machine is also like designed to reduce the amount of like physical labor as much as possible. Like when we make noodles like every day, right? And then like make tons of them, right? And then for example, like so you may be carrying like dough that's that weighs like 15 kilo or something per batch, right? Like on this rolling pin, like you maybe carrying like 10 kilo of dough, right? I mean that's heavy. Like that's almost like working out, like like 4 hours, right? Of like making noodles, and if you do it like every single day, then that's then you get sore muscle and stuff like it's not really so like we designed this machine to reduce as much physical labor, physical work as possible, and so now we are just thinning the dough, right? Thinning the dough, and you control like everything like that, like this touch panel, like control panel here, and then like the roller gap we set. You just you just like do it on the touch panel, um, just in the touch panel, right? And now like it's thinning at like 2.7 millimeter, and of course like that these text, right, these messages like on the touch panel are going to be like, or can be like translated in English, like translated in Chinese. So Okay. So dusting, sheeting, right? So after it's gone through like so it's kind of part of like digital cooking method, and like we measure the actual thickness, right? And then that's 3.2 ish, right? No, 3.3, 2. So there's always a difference between like the roller gap and actual thickness, because actual thickness always like expands, right? Expands after it's going to be the roller gap rollers. So there's a difference between like difference of like 0.5 millimeter. So it like bounced back like 0.5 millimeter. So we wanna, when we cutting, right, we wanna be able to see like how much it bounces back, right? So that we can estimate like what we can calculate that, okay, what the roller gap needs to be, right? What does the roller gap need to be to for that, so that the actual thickness, like actual dough is like that bounce back by this much, so that the final thickness would be like this, right? This thickness, right? So this is part of digital cooking, and then so this is a cutout we're going to use today, and this like knife shaped, like this cutout is like for a knife shaped noodles, like it's a kind of Chinese famous noodle dish that they do with they shape the dough right with the knife to make noodles, make it into noodles. And so this cutter, this little cutter, kind of mimics the shapes of these noodles, right? So let's start cutting. And so another great thing that about this machine is that, like, well, the height, right? Like where Megan is catching, is going to catch the noodles, right, that are coming out of this machine, is sort of like set to high position, so like she can just sit the chair like that, right, and then like catch, like retrieve noodles. Then, um, but if that position like is like a low position, right, and then like you'd have like catch them like in an awkward position, right, for well, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, right, and then like you hurt your back, and then and then you do that like for every day, and then um, you get like probably chronic pain, like chronic pain. So yeah, and then because it's set at the high, so like high position, right? So like you can actually show, right, show the how you guys make noodles to customers, right? So imagine like the noodles coming out and see the shapes, right? See the shapes of noodles. It's very different, unique. And then yeah, it's like imagine like kind of like noodle texture that you feel like when you bite into them, right? Bite into noodles, and so as you can see, right? Like usually we usually see, right? And imagine like you place this machine piece of equipment like in the glass, glass window, and then where customers can see, right? And then you do that like every day, and then probably customers like while customers waiting for their boiled ramen, then they can just kind of keep watching how the noodles made, and then keep wondering like like these the noodles like what I'm gonna eat, right? So see, it has like sort of entertaining sort of value as well for customers too, right? And it's like kind of unique, right, to be offering like this type of noodles, and then like there are so many different types of cutters, like sizes, like shapes, right? So if you like what you want to make, and then you can make like dumpling skins as well, like different types of dumpling skins using like different ingredients, different colored flavors. So basically, like basically just the possibilities are just limitless, right? It's up to your imagination. So yeah, these are the kind of unique shapes of noodles. And we've done like, it's like very wide, like thin noodles I've made before, and they're very unique too. Like, probably, no one really is offering that kind of noodles, right? And then they are very good too.